Welcome to part 6, the function and structure of the skin. As a skincare coach, you need a fundamental understanding of how the skin functions, including its structure prior to analyzing your client's skin type and conditions. The next sections cover this in detail. Your skin is always in a state of change, constantly regenerating itself by producing new skin cells, pushing those towards the surface and shedding them, making way for the cycle to continue throughout our lives. On a cellular level, the skin cells are constantly regenerating, repairing, and shedding, revealing fresh, newly grown skin cells from the layers below the outer surface. Repairing the skin is important so that infections don't occur and so that the body is protected, which is the primary function of the skin. When you cut yourself, the skin covers itself over, sealing itself against the atmosphere and the environment as quickly as it can. And when it continues to work on repairing what was damaged, that's a great thing. Sometimes it does this for extended periods of time. This is why you see scars and blemishes fade over time. The science behind your skin's life cycle can help you really take care of your client's skin, helping them understand how their habits help or hurt the skin's regeneration process. Providing your clients with healthful skincare suggestions can also help you boost their skin's natural regeneration process that is sure to give them an ongoing, youthful, and freshly glowing complexion. Ideally, you'll help them learn how to speed up their skin's regeneration processes so that the aging process doesn't adversely affect their appearance prematurely. So let's talk about the structure of your skin. This section explores the skin's relevant anatomical structures and their functions. The skin is the largest organ of the body, and it covers the body's entire external surface. The skin structure is made up of an intricate network which serves as the body's initial barrier against pathogens, UV light, chemicals, and mechanical injury, which is cuts. The skin also regulates temperature and the amount of body water loss as it releases it through evaporation. This is called sweating. The skin is made up of 3 layers: the epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. All 3 serve different purposes and vary significantly in their autonomy and function. Fundamentally, the epidermis is sustained by stem cells in the lowest layers of the skin. The epidermal stem cells generate daughter cells that move outward through the skin's layers toward the surface of the skin. During this outward journey, cells that produce keratin undergo a series of biochemical changes. These changes result in the development and construction of the various layers of your skin. So how often does the skin actually regenerate itself? Studies estimate that the skin turns over on average every 40 to 56 days. However, the older the body becomes, the slower the process. In 20-year-olds, experts say that it's a 28-day turnover time. That's typical. However, for an 80-year-old, this decreases approximately 30 to 50%. On average, a 50-year-old person's regeneration process can be reduced to a cycle that is mid-range of that, probably about every 45 to 58 days. When this occurs without proper exfoliation, an excess of skin cells making up the skin's complexion, when they aren't removed, they appear ashy, dull, tired, lifeless, and gray. Knowing how to avoid this by understanding how the skin regenerates itself is important to skin health and appearance. Now let's talk about the vascular network and temperature regulation. Vascular network is actually the veins and capillaries found in the skin. They transfer oxygen and carbon dioxide, as well as nutrients, across all of the layers of your skin and into your body. The body regulates temperature through the skin by increasing blood flow to the skin, transferring heat from the body to the environment. On the other hand, decreases in the outer skin's temperature can cause vascular restriction of the skin's blood vessels. The skin serves as a protection, and it protects the skin from hypothermia out in colder conditions. The thickness of the skin plays an important role. The thickness of each layer of the skin varies depending on the region of the body. The skin's depth, texture, and makeup are typically categorized and assessed based on the thickness of the epidermal and dermal layers. As a general rule, hairless skin found on the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet is considered the thickest because the epidermis contains an extra layer, the stratum lucidum. The upper back is also considered thickest of the larger areas of the torso based on the thickness of the dermis, but it's considered thin skin histologically because the epidermal thickness lacks the stratum lucidum layer and is thinner than hairless skin. Now, if that sounds confusing, defining the skin according to thickness is therefore difficult to do if you're comparing body parts. However, when you're comparing the same area in different individuals, you can make an assessment of sorts by thickness comparison. Remember that if people tend not to exfoliate these areas, the thickness builds up, which is not desirable for skin health at all. The coaching conversation that you should have with them would be to mention how important exfoliation is for skin revitalization. Additionally, the older the skin, the thinner it actually tends to be. Interestingly, male skin tends to be thicker in the region where skin cells tend to accumulate and thicken. Now let's talk about the epidermis. The word epidermis combines the ancient Greek prefix epi, which means outer, and the ancient Greek word derma, which means skin. The word translates to outer skin. Your epidermis is the outermost layer of the skin of your entire body. It protects your body from harm, keeps your body hydrated, produces new skin cells. It contains melanin, which determines the color of your skin. The epidermis is actually the thinnest layer of skin, but it's primarily responsible for protecting you from the outside world, and in particular from harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. It also serves a vital purpose in protecting the body from excessive dehydration and from infection by not allowing foreign substances to penetrate. Because it has no blood vessels of its own, it gets its oxygen and nutrients from the deeper layers of the skin. There are 5 layers in the epidermis, and these are the stratum corneum. This is the top layer of the epidermis, the one that you see. The 2 primary functions are to protect the body from excessive transdermal water loss and to protect the body from harmful compounds entering the body's tissues. For skincare coaching purposes, this is important because providing ways to help protect this layer is critically important to overall skincare health. Any skincare products that are applied topically are put on this layer, the stratum corneum. If you want a little bit more detail, in the stratum corneum, keratinocytes become corneocytes. Corneocytes are strong, dead keratinocytes, and they protect your skin from harm, including abrasions, light, heat, and from pathogens. This layer also consists of fats that the water in your body from easily entering or leaving it. These keratinocytes and corneocytes eventually shed as new keratinocyte cells develop in the stratum basal layer and move outwards through the skin's other layers. Now let's talk about the stratum lucidum. The stratum lucidum is a thin, transparent layer of keratinocytes that are less round and have a flatter shape than the ones in the outer layers. The stratum lucidum is responsible for the capability of the skin to stretch. It also contains a protein that's responsible for the degeneration of skin cells. Very important consideration when you consider the purpose and functions of serums. Serums must have a smaller molecular structure to penetrate this layer for maximum efficacy.